I don't give a fuck.
No, literally my give a fucks are on vacation.
My give a fucks, they're gone. There
Gone.
are none.
My give a
They
fucks
flew
have
away.
left the chat.
And that's today's episode. So, hi guys.
Today
Welcome.
we're going to be teaching you the subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Oh, that's a book.
I think it is.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
We are dressed in our best I don't give a fuck energy.
Yeah.
And clothes.
Looking pretty cute.
Yeah, fits.
Yeah.
And yeah. We're
What's new
also
with
slightly
you?
hungover, so just, yeah,
Yeah,
as
we're
usual.
like
you already know
slowly
that.
recovering.
You already know that.
But what else is new?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not surprised, I already know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, nothing much. I'm really excited for this episode. When I thought of, doing this episode, I was like, I want to do one where we talk about why you shouldn't be afraid to offend people and, like, why you should try to offend more people.
Listen, it's brat summer, and,
Yes.
like, we're here to be a brat.
Exactly.
Like, we're here, we're just gonna fucking say what we want, do what we want, act how we want.
Yeah.
And you can deal with it, okay?
Yeah.
Or you can fucking go home.
And we're here to endorse this idea and why everyone should not give a fuck and be more like Kourtney Kardashian, which is, I feel like I'm giving her energy right now. Like, I don't give a fuck.
She is pretty good at, like,
Yeah.
doing what makes her happy, I have to say.
Yeah.
Like, she suffers no fools.
She's a real one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we wanted to talk about that, and we had like a little conversation at our breakfast this morning about like living your authentic truth, and
We really, like, dived deep during our breakfast burrito
Yeah.
combo. Yeah.
oh, for sure. Oh, story time though. What's that place called? Crush Cakes in
Crush
Santa Barbara.
Cakes Cafe.
They have the juiciest fucking burritos I've ever fucking seen.
We left there soaked.
I was soaked. I don't know what it was.
No, like,
This juice just
We were
kept
dripping.
pouring
Yeah.
out of the burrito. And I was like, am I being punked? Like, is there a hose attached
no,
to
I
this
actually
burrito?
almost pissed my pants because when they cleared the plates for us, Molly, like, looked under the table and there was just, like, a little bit of water on the patio. Like, someone had, like, left
Just a
a
puddle.
hose running. And she was like, is that from the burrito? I was cackling. Oh my god. It's because it's true. They
No,
were like,
it
I don't know
literally-
what they put in there, but it was, like, wet.
Dude, it was like everywhere. I
Yeah.
was like, I haven't been this wet since
Ever.
since 2016. Like, Jesus.
No, same.
Oh my god.
So yeah, if you need to, moisten up, head to Crush Cakes.
Yeah. If you're having a dry spell, just go there.
I've heard actually you're never supposed to say the word moist on air because it, like, makes a lot of people cringe. Like, a lot of people don't like the sound of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you mind it
My
or no?
friend, I don't mind that word, but
I
my
don't either.
friend absolutely hates it.
Really?
She can't stand it.
Some people,
I
no,
really
yeah, it,
wanna
like,
say
gives
it right
them the
now. This
Well,
episode's
we don't give a
about
fuck.
giving a fuck.
So, I hope all you moist bitches don't mind us.
Everyone just logged off.
I know.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Nobody's left. Well, good.
We're good.
Goodbye. We're not here to people
Um,
please. We're not here to walk on
genuinely.
eggshells.
But also, like, I think you and me are such people pleasers that
Yeah.
this is kind of a new era for us. Like,
Yeah.
or at least, like, we're gonna be making a more concerted effort to genuinely live for ourselves.
Yes.
Because you cannot waste your fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you want to be compassionate and empathetic towards other people, but bitch, don't stress it. Like,
It's fucking exhausting.
and if someone's unhappy, it is not your job to make them
It
feel
is
better.
exhausting to try to please the
Yeah.
masses, and I know people that try to do that, and
Yeah.
I'm like, aren't you tired?
Well,
Aren't you tired?
no, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. That's why I think everyone is so burnt out. Honestly, it's not that we're all overworking and the economy sucks. I mean, yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
that helps the situation, but we have created, this is going to sound so, like, podcasty of me, but we have created, so podcasty, to put it in technical terms.
Exactly, yeah.
We've created this culture with social media that you cannot offend anyone
Yeah.
or say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, dress
Yeah.
a certain way. Like, there's such a culture of fear around what is appropriate and acceptable to
Yeah.
say and behave
Mhm.
in a certain way
Yeah.
that people are, like, burnt out from
Like,
it. Like, you
words
don't
like-
have any energy left to just be yourself.
Words like woke, PC, and cancel culture did not exist when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I think that in some ways, it is for the better. I think there's some things that are insensitive, but for the most part, it's created this
Yeah.
fear, like, it's like fear-mongering.
Yeah.
And it's fucking exhausting. And you were saying that there's a trend going around saying that cancel culture is dead. Because
yeah,
nobody's...
well, I've started to notice,
Yeah.
like, a lot of people, even, like, influencers and stuff, are just fucking speaking their shit and,
Yes.
like, saying what they want to say.
Yeah.
And in a way, like, I kind of respect it.
Yeah.
But, like, it's really pissed people off.
Yeah.
Because we're so ingrained in the, like, the bandwagon culture of everyone
Yeah.
just agreeing all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That goes back to one of our first episodes where we talked about Matt Rife and his,
Yeah.
like, really controversial jokes.
Yeah.
And I honestly fucking respect it. I respected it. I mean...
That especially is so stupid to me. Because
Yeah.
as a comedian, it is your job to show up and say the thing that people are scared to say.
Yes.
That's that's what comedy is. It's like the intersection of speaking something into existence or acknowledging, like, a social phenomenon that everyone's aware of, but it hasn't been verbalized yet.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I respect it, though. And we were talking about today at breakfast how I turned to Ethan and I was like, you know, when I became a yapper, and he thought it was the funniest thing ever.
I don't know why, it cracked me up.
When I became more comfortable in who I was, like, I would say in my, like, early 20s, and started speaking my mind more, I was still kind of afraid to offend people or, like, say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And more recently, I have given less fucks. And I've noticed that the risk has been worth the reward, because when I just say how I truly feel, like, if I'm just brutally fucking honest with the people around me, they usually appreciate it and they resonate with it and they're so thankful that someone's just being authentic.
Even if they don't agree, they respect it.
Yes. And also it's funny. Like, if you're like, I'm so sorry, like, I, like, wanted to hug you but I stink, like, they're gonna think it's funny because you're
real.
saying something
Yeah.
that's real and, like,
well, and everyone can relate to that too.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, like we were saying, like, a majority of things you experience, everyone else, like, it's universal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. That's so weird because it's like there are like I promise you, there's probably not a singular thing that you have experienced in your life personally that someone else hasn't also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the human experience is so uniform across the board. I mean, obviously there are certain things when it comes to, like, social class and all of that really shape your reality.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, I'm sure anyone who can relate to that or at least knows someone who's been through that.
Yeah.
And so speaking it, yeah, just fucking say it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I'm so tired of, like, people having this fear of, like, of just being honest. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I struggle with it because I do want everyone to get along, and, like, for there to be harmony within society.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like if you're faking it the whole time, there's not actually any harmony to that. There's no fucking peace because everyone's just pushing down how they really feel.
Yes.
You
And
know?
I will say, I've noticed that, so I took this multicultural class where literally the whole class was just saying what you think about different cultures and, like, cultures intersecting, and not being afraid to offend people in the class. So she would be like, our professor was like, if you think you're gonna offend someone, just say it anyways, and then we'll work it out. We're gonna talk it through.
Yeah.
Even if you do offend someone, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna survive.
It's okay.
We're gonna talk it out,
Yeah.
and we're gonna come to an agreement or not, and it'll be okay. She was like, just say it, because when you're so afraid to offend people, it leaves you and others in the dark. And it reminds me of, like, that Holocaust quote.
It is like literally
Do
the
you know what
tunnel
quote I'm talking
to
about?
stupidity.
Yeah. The quote I'm talking about, that's like, first they came for this group of people. I don't remember
I said
how
nothing.
it goes. And I said nothing.
Yeah.
And then they came for this group and I said nothing. And then they came for me.
And there was no one left to
and there was
speak
no
up
one
for me.
left.
Yeah.
Because if you're just living this PC, woke, quiet life and not, my mom always says, she has this all her little sayings, but one of my favorite ones is that the emperor has no clothes. Have you heard that?
Yes, but what the fuck does that mean?
It's like an old like tale
Okay.
where I'm gonna butcher this, but basically it's this what's it called? Tale. What's another word for
Fable.
it? Fable.
Okay.
It's this fable where like the emperor one day decided to not wear any clothes, and he told everyone that he was wearing gold. And because he was the emperor, like, I think he was wearing gold, or he was wearing like beautiful, he told everyone he was like wearing beautiful armor or whatever. I'm butchering this, but then everybody was like, oh, he is. Like, they turned to each other and they're like, he is wearing it.
Yeah.
And they're like, even though he's literally not wearing anything.
Yeah.
Everybody convinced each other that he was, because he was the emperor. They didn't want to offend the emperor. You don't offend the emperor, you're gonna get your head chopped off.
Yeah.
And then the end of the fable is like, one guy stood up and was like, the emperor has no fucking clothes. Okay, he has no clothes on. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying.
So my mom always says the emperor has no clothes.
Yeah.
Because like she is a nurse and she works at the ICU, and there's constantly like all these young nurses that are really afraid to speak up and like say that something's not right.
Yeah.
And she's like, 30 years in nursing and like very experienced, and she'll be like, no, the emperor has no fucking clothes, like something's not right, like you need to fix this, and point it out when everyone was too afraid, and then she ends up saving lives because she wasn't afraid to speak up.
Literally.
Yeah.
And so you do just have to like say fuck it at a certain point and be like, I'm gonna be honest. And I promise you, like, not only are you going to foster more real connections with people by doing that, you're gonna find people who you align with more.
Yes.
Because you're actually being who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why it's like, we always say whenever we go into a date, we're like fully crazy, fully ourselves.
Yes.
Like, no bars held.
Yes.
Because otherwise you're just wasting each other's time. You know what I mean? Like, just be you. You know what I mean?
Or otherwise you're going to find out in 40 years that they're actually not an investment banker and they're in fact a farmer. So, like...
40 years later.
But my professor literally said that he's like a really old, wise psychologist, and he's like semi-retired, and he was like, I got divorced, so like my one piece of dating for everyone is just be fucking honest from the beginning. Just be completely, brutally honest with who you go on a date with on the first date.
And be
show
honest
them
with
who
yourself.
you are. Be honest with yourself. And like I said, the risk is worth the reward, because
so worth it.
You're gonna find people, like you're gonna weave through the people that you don't align with by being your most authentic self.
Yeah. You find your crowd a lot faster.
Yes.
I promise you.
And you're gonna find your people that love you for who you are and not for who you're trying to be.
Yeah.
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 Every thought just left my head.
Me too. Me too. I think you said it so well. I mean, that's it. Goodbye, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. No, you said it so well that I was like, yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming by.
We were saying earlier that when you're most vulnerable, and I was telling you about the Carl Rogers quote from his book. He said something along the lines of like, I found in my career that the things that people are most afraid to like expose about themselves or share, like their most vulnerable moments, or like they have an embarrassing hobby or whatever that they're very ashamed of, the moments when they do share that, they end up forming the deepest connections.
Yeah. Well, there's something about it that is so endearing too, about someone who just likes what they like. You know what I mean? Like,
and they're not afraid of it.
There's nothing more boring to me than someone who's like, what's your hobby? And they're like, oh, like watching Netflix and blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we all like that and that's great, but like, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, if that's really who you are.
Yeah.
But like, I would way rather hear about like you fucking crocheting something
Yes.
or like going into the mountains to do a blood ritual for the weekend. Like, that's my tea. I will pull up for it. Like, send me the address. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know, it's way more fun, and I feel like life has become so stale because people are scared to be anything that's not like part of what is socially acceptable. Out of fear of cancel culture. You know what I mean? And I think that we're finally like, it's been enough time that we're reaching a point where it's like people are realizing, oh, we're all human and like people fuck up.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I promise you, it's not the end of the world. Look at all the fucking influencers and the people who have been canceled, the celebs.
Yeah.
They're fine.
They're
honestly,
fine.
they're probably
You're
happier
gonna
now
survive.
than they were before. You know what I mean?
Because they're living a more authentic life.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, if you were canceled for being, like, racist or homophobic, like,
yeah, there's some
get your shit
things-
together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not saying everything flies, but in a weird way, like, I preferred when people were outwardly racist, outwardly homophobic, because it's like, you know not to fuck with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're just like, yes, I'm a racist.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'm staying far fucking
But
away
also,
from you.
like, when you expose those beliefs, I think you open up the opportunity for learning and for growth.
Yes,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
So I think I talked about this in another episode, but Daryl Davis, the black musician, jazz player, I think he plays saxophone,
Okay.
and how he went to the KKK meetings and was like befriending all them.
Yeah.
Because he literally just opened the door for conversation.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about, like living an authentic, real life and showing up as that. You're gonna invite other people to do the same. Kind of goes into our last episode about like attracts like. When you're real and coming from a place of love and being
that's
authentic,
the key. I think you do have to come from a place of love. You can't. I mean, I know this episode's about not giving a fuck, which you shouldn't. Like, don't be scared to express your opinion. But you can be honest and real about how you feel, even if it's something that a lot of people would maybe cancel you for.
Yeah.
As long as you are non-confrontational about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy to go swim against stream as long as you are, you know, chill. You're like, you know, I mean, I'm not advocating for people to go, like, shoot up schools or anything. You know what I mean? But, like...
Yeah. My favorite quote from that documentary is, I didn't respect what he had to say, but I respected his right to say it.
I mean, that is the foundation of America.
That's America. Freedom of
speech, babe. Like,
yeah.
And we've, like, that right, whether you realize it or not, has been taken away from you.
Yeah.
By cancel culture, because you're fucking scared.
Yeah.
You're scared to say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the whole premise of
Other
that...
people trying to tell you what you can or can't say.
The whole premise of that, of that fucking, what do you call it? Amendment? The whole premise of that amendment is to protect that.
Yeah.
And we haven't protected it. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, and kind of going back to what you were saying about crocheting and like...
blood rituals.
Like, doing what you truly like to do and not being embarrassed or afraid that it doesn't go with the norm.
Yeah.
When I see people who have their own style, I am like so much more like visually attracted to that than somebody who is maybe just following like the mainstream and the trends.
That's a really good analogy, actually.
I'm like, whoa, like they put that little outfit together and it looks so good. Like, that top like is very out there, but it like they styled it in a way that's unique to them, and it looks so unique. Yeah. And it's so attractive that they are their own unique person, and they're trying to make their little mark on the world in whatever way that is. That's like so beautiful to me, and I always think
it takes a certain level of courage.
It does.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think
like the emperor has no clothes.
The emperor has no clothes.
Courage,
you gotta say it with your chest. You gotta be it. You just have to like inhabit that. You know what I mean? The not give a fuck energy. You have to. It's a mindset. It really is.
And it becomes easier the older you get, I will say.
And the more you do it.
The more
because
you do
I think once you realize
you're not gonna die.
You're not gonna die. No one's gonna fucking throw stones at you.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna be fine.
You're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So just do it. You know what I mean?
Speak
I mean,
your
unless you're
mind.
like a homosexual in the Middle East, maybe don't go outside with like acrylics and a 10-inch wig on.
Yeah.
Like, you know, time and place. But even then, like, the only way things change, the only way, like, you create space for yourself is by being yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Speak your mind, and it will, like, the reward is worth the risk. Like, you will find deeper connections with people. You're going to be more honest and true to yourself, so you're going to be more confident in who you are because you're like, yes, I like this. This is what I believe. I like these types of people, and you're going to be more, like, definitive.
Yeah.
I think that it does, like, you don't want to cross too far over to where you're not willing to hear other people.
Yeah.
That you're, like, so, I don't know, set in your ways and black and white.
Yeah.
It is, like, you have to live in that gray area. I was actually talking about this on my date the other day. I was like, I have found that people who are very firm in their beliefs.
Yeah.
Oftentimes religious people, religious people actually have like the highest, often they are like the happiest and like lowest rates of depression.
That doesn't surprise me.
And,
well,
like,
it's because
best
they believe in
marriages.
something bigger than themselves.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't matter what religion
Yeah.
it is. It's just that they have like a belief system that they are like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is right, this
Are you
is
kidding?
wrong.
If I believed
Yeah.
in God, which
Life would
I
be
mean,
so much
sometimes I
easier.
do.
Yeah.
Depending on how dark things get. Yeah, life would be so much easier. Are you
Yeah.
kidding? I'm out here raw dogging life, just like hoping for the best. Like,
Yeah.
it's scary.
Religious people, tend to have lower rates of depression. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. But
That doesn't surprise me. Unless you're Mormon and gay.
yeah. So, what was I saying?
I don't know.
We're so sorry. We're running on 2 brain cells right now.
No, like the hangover brain is.
Oh
yeah,
my
for
god.
Sure.
Okay. I was trying to say religion. Oh, when I was talking about this on my date, how people who have those like firm beliefs are happier, but it's also like you need to be able to live in that gray area
Yeah.
where you can also like kind of sit with somebody who has differing opinions than you, because that allows so much growth.
Yeah.
So I do think it's like kind of an art. Like you want to have your beliefs and like know who you are and be firm in who you are. Like that's the goal. That's my goal at least.
And when I don't think, yeah.
But
I'm sorry,
at
finish your
least
thought.
no, you're good. But at least like be willing to. It's like Carl Rogers' book. I'm always becoming a person. You're always becoming. You're always in the process
becoming.
of
Michelle
becoming.
Obama.
You're
Becoming.
always growing and evolving. So like while having a very firm set of beliefs is great, you're always growing and becoming, and don't forget that. Like
Yeah.
always keep an open mind, always be willing to learn is what I was trying to say.
That's
Okay.
beautiful. I love that. Maybe I'll get a tattoo that says always becoming.
Always becoming.
That's kind of cute. Anyway, what I was just gonna say though is like, just because you're sitting down and willing to hear someone out too, and like kind of listen to their perspective, see like, doesn't mean that you have to agree with them. But you can be an adult and have that conversation.
Yeah.
People don't want to be an adult.
Yeah. Just
I
like
realize.
Daryl Davis.
Yeah, of course. And like, listen, I feel like this, especially when it comes to politics or anything like that, people are so like black and white, and
Yes.
that's part of just our culture, I think, or at least how the culture has evolved. But you can have that conversation with someone and be like, respectfully, I disagree. Love that for you though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, why is that so hard?
What? Yeah.
Why is that so hard for people?
Yeah. I don't know.
Also, this whole episode is reminding me of the Dr. Seuss book, Stars Upon the Stars.
I never read that one.
Oh my god, I love Dr. Seuss.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Okay, let me just butcher this story next. So Stars Upon the Stars is basically about his, he has like all his little creatures in Dr. Seuss land.
Yeah. Is a Nars a creature?
I think, no, maybe.
Oh.
It's Stars Upon Thars.
Oh,
like
thars.
those. Like, it's
Stars
another
upon
word
thars.
for those, I think.
Okay.
And so there's all these little creatures, and they're all just like living their life, and then this one gets born and he has a star on his chest, and everyone's making fun of him, and they're like, you idiot, like you have a star on your chest.
Yeah.
And then they come out with this like machine that can put stars on their chest, and everybody starts
What's
getting stars.
Aw.
And then, like,
it's like the ugly duckling.
Yeah, and then one person gets it removed, and then everybody wants it removed. And then it goes back and forth.
So funny.
They just
no,
follow.
That's the perfect fucking analogy.
Yeah.
Because that is what we're living in. We are
Yeah.
living in a fucking Dr. Seuss story where everyone just follows the cue
just follow.
from one person or
Yes.
one leader. You know what I mean? There's like no individual thought anymore. Like no one is willing to put in the work to think for themselves.
They just follow.
And that is terrifying.
That is terrifying.
That's how atrocities like the Holocaust happened.
We've talked about this before,
Yeah.
but I'm like very moderate. I've always like lived my life in the middle. Like,
Yeah.
I literally had a guy on Hinge one time be like, "Wow, you're spiritual and moderate. Like, how's life in the gray area? Like, you're always living in the gray area." And I was like, you know what? You're not wrong. Like, I feel like I'm always in the middle of my family too.
Do you know what's interesting though too is like I feel like yes, life in the gray area is interesting because you have both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the people who are more secure, kind of like you said, people who are like more religious, very either far left, far right, very conservative, very liberal.
Yeah.
Of course they're happier. That's so much easier to be told what to think and what to feel constantly.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it's easy.
It saves you all of the drama of having to figure out your own opinion. You know what I mean? When you live in the gray area or you are in between, you know, two parties, two thoughts, two different lifestyles.
Constantly
it's hard. You have to like, you are, because it's like situational. Like depends on whatever the context is how you like that changes with how you feel. It's
difficult to live in that gray area. And I told you that I learned in one of my classes that traditional couples, both gay and straight, are reportedly more satisfied in their relationships. Because, and we talked about this in class, and we were saying that it's because they already know what their roles are. Like, that traditional dynamic is very natural. Like, hierarchy is very natural to humans, I think. It's effective, and I think you don't, like, when you're in the submissive position, say, like, let's say being a straight woman, I'm, like, in a more submissive dynamic, then, or position in the dynamic.
I'm very familiar with the submissive dynamic.
Oh my god, shut up. And it makes it easy, because I'm like, I already know what my role is. I know what I need to do. I know how I need to act. I don't need to think about it. And when you start challenging, I'm not saying that you shouldn't challenge it. I think this episode's all about living your most authentic truth, so if that doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. But having that role does make life easier. Like, having that set of beliefs.
I think so too. And like, even when it comes to like dating, in the gay community, there's so many different like subcategories of like, are you top, are you bottom, are you, you know, daddy, are you young, you know, all these different things. I know that a lot of people like want to abolish that, which I can respect, but I kind of appreciate the structure to it. Do you know what I mean? Because when you're not part of the mainstream and you're not like man and woman, there is no system otherwise. You know what I mean?
It's like untethered.
And controversial opinion, but first guys are fun because they can do both, top and bottom. This is so out of pocket.
No, go for it.
But like, if we're speaking our truth, like, I kind of like when in a relationship one of you is the top, one of you is the bottom. Like you said, like you, not that it's like traditional, but like, I don't know, it helps set the tone so that there's not confusion when you're going into the bedroom.
Exactly,
you know
there's
what I
no
mean?
confusion.
Which I like. You know what I mean? And if you want to switch it up, fine, communicate that. Do you know what I mean? But like, when we're going and when it's getting hot and heavy, I don't want to like sit down and have a 20-minute conversation with you about what you're into, what you want to do, all the stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's just go at it, baby.
It is, living life in the middle is more difficult, I would say. And like I was saying, that Hinge person was like, wow, spiritual and moderate. And I was just thinking about how being in the middle, when I meet people from either side, we've talked about this a lot, when I meet people from either side of the political parties, like
Mm-hmm.
Republican or liberal, if they are just following the masses, I don't know, if they have a reason for why they're on that side
Yeah.
and they can justify it, it doesn't matter to me what side they're on. If they have like strong morals and values
Yeah.
for why that is, I respect that so much more than people that are just following the trend.
Me too.
Yeah, and we talk about this all
Me
the
too.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a weird way, that's when I like sometimes don't vibe with my own community sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Is because it does feel like a lot of people just like hop on the bandwagon of whatever they're expected to think.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is guilty of that, like at some point, I'm sure, you know what I mean, depending on where you're at and what community you're talking about. But like, yeah, sometimes I do find myself like identifying with people who are on the complete other spectrum of my political beliefs
Yeah.
because they can justify how they feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
And it makes sense.
Yeah,
It's
and-
not just like, oh, well, because.
even if I don't agree, I am more likely to respect that person because they have their own belief system.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That they can support and discuss. Do you know
And
what I mean?
that's so attractive.
It is
Do
attractive.
you think since starting the pod, you've like found your voice more and you're less afraid to?
I think it's helped, yeah.
I was thinking about like our first episode. I was definitely censoring myself more than I am now. Like
Yeah.
this is probably the most unhinged episode we've ever done.
Yeah.
Where I just don't give a fuck.
I mean, we haven't
is
even
ironic.
revealed that much about our, you know, whatever. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I do no. I mean, no bars held at all. Like you could ask me anything, and I would say it honestly.
'Cause
like,
when we
I think
fir-
my friends know that too. Like,
Yeah.
I like to be attributed as like a very honest.
You
person.
are very honest. Yeah.
I'll give it to you
I
straight.
wonder if you have any Sagittarius in your
Unless
chart.
you want it gay.
Shut up. I wonder if you have any Sagittarius in your chart.
Maybe. Well,
'Cause they're
Capricorns
very
are pretty like
honest.
upfront.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
say.
Yeah, I was thinking like on the first episode, I was definitely censoring myself.
Yeah.
I was so afraid, and then like we said, when I realized, oh, I didn't get stoned, I didn't get
Yeah.
exiled,
Yeah.
nobody gave a fuck, I feel so much
No one gives a
more
fuck. Yeah.
confident in who I am because I'm like, wow, nobody's watching, no one's paying attention.
I think one of the secrets to effectively not giving a fuck is realizing that other people don't give a fuck about you.
No, they're all focused on themselves.
Everyone's so worried about themselves, they don't have 5 fucking minutes to think about you. And if
No.
they do, they're either in love with you or they want to kill you.
Yeah, basically.
And haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. What?
Should we reveal a controversial opinion that we have? Since this is the I don't give a fuck episode.
I'm trying to think. I always try to come up with them for my Hinge profile,
Yeah.
and now I'm trying to think of the ones I've had. Squidward is a closeted gay.
That I 100% could see.
He 100% is.
Yeah.
Ranch goes with pizza and fries, like
Ew,
not
fuck
ketchup.
no. Not with pizza.
You love ranch.
I love ranch, not on pizza though.
Oh, I love ranch on pizza.
Yeah, jail.
No, it's amazing. Don't knock till you try it.
I've had it. I actually like it on
That's
cold
my
pizza.
opinion.
That's
My opinion.
I love that.
I love how if any
We should
like
name that this episode.
if a boomer is listening, if any boomers are listening, they have no idea what we're talking about.
So
like to
confused.
half of our memes
Yeah.
that we reference, they're just
Well,
like,
speaking
what
of
the fuck
boomers,
is happening?
partly like why I think they're so secure. I mean, obviously you live to be a certain age and you realize that like life goes on.
Mhm.
But I think when you're old too, you are kind of invisible, at least in Western society. Like, we don't pay a lot of attention to anyone that's over like 50, 55.
It is interesting how
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And there's a certain level of security that comes with that. Because they're
Yeah.
like, ain't nobody worried about me.
it is
I can do
interesting
what I want,
how
you know?
I was at a coffee shop and I think I told you this already, but I was at a coffee shop and there was two girls talking and they were probably like early 20s
Mm-hmm.
and they were just like hating on Trump, you know, usual stuff.
Yeah.
And for little 20-year-old girls.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because they were like, oh yeah, my mom is like a huge Trump supporter
Yeah.
and I just can't talk to her about these things. And it's so interesting to me that like you won't even hear out somebody that you love so dearly that like you go home to. You won't even have a conversation with them about it. Like my mom.
Also, the person who raised you and gave you your whole belief system and set of values.
Yeah.
You don't see any any value in like having a conversation with them and maybe hearing their side.
And it's just it just feels like performative.
Yeah.
That they were like trying to one up the other person on who's the more like more of a Trump
that's
hater.
what it's become.
It's performative.
That's what politics and like the fucking social sphere that we have through the internet has become. It's like virtue signaling. You just want to show off that you are morally righteous.
Yes.
By voting for this person, believing in this, doing that. You know what I mean? That's genuinely what it is.
I cannot stand a holier than thou person on
neither.
either side of whatever. It fucking drives me nuts.
Me too.
Do you agree?
Yes and no. Because I think you can be... No one who thinks they're holier than thou is holier than thou.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
If you actually want to be a good person, be a good... Like, this sounds so
there's
stupid.
There's no judgment.
But be a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you want to have the moral high ground, you have to make morally right decisions that are objectively good for other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It comes down to selflessness, and I think so few people are selfless these days.
Mm-hmm. It's very ironic. It reminds me of when I was like, my dad had just died when I was 15, and I was like debating, you know, leaving the Mormon church and like not attending anymore because I didn't resonate with it any longer. And I was like on the fence. I was still like going here and there, but I really hadn't been in a while. And my young women's leader came over to my house and was like checking on me. Came with the best of intentions, but she said this, and I'll never forget. She was like, "Do you really want to end up like your sister?" And she was talking about how my sister had never like been religious. She was kind of like the rebel in our family, and that just showed me that it was coming from a holier than thou.
That's the main reason I don't fuck with a lot of religious people.
Judgment, place of judgment. I actually really respect Mormons, and I think there's a lot of good people in the church.
I think so too.
I think there's good people everywhere. It doesn't matter what religion or politics you have.
But when you use your religion as a justification to judge other people, and their lifestyle,
just fucking died, bitch.
Yeah. Oh my god, I would have kicked her out so fast.
Yeah.
And then to come over and talk shit about your sister.
Yeah. I literally was like only 15, and I was like, get out.
I would have been floored.
I just said like, you need to leave now.
Oh yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
And I just stopped the conversation. My face like went flat, and I was like, get the fuck out.
Good for you. Fuck her.
That's why I have trauma.
Yeah.
But
if you're listening, fuck you, Linda. I don't even know what her name was, but...
That is a very, like, Karen name. Karen's and Linda's.
I replaced Karen with Linda. I don't know why. I love Linda.
I really feel for the women that are named Karen. That really sucks.
Yeah.
Like, boomers named Karen.
Listen,
I'm so sorry.
You know what? I'm going to tell everyone a secret right now. You can choose the fucking name you want. It's okay. It's not disrespectful to your parents. If they named you fucking Candy... It's not your responsibility to go through life with everyone thinking you're a stripper. Like, I'm sorry, but like...
Go change your name at the courthouse.
Go change your name. Go to the courthouse. Even if you don't do it legally, you can just be like, hey, my name's Amanda.
Yeah. Who cares?
And you're fully Sheila.
Whatever.
You know what I mean?
This episode's all about not giving a fuck.
Fully
living
Sheila. You're fully Sheila.
Fully Sheila. Living your authentic truth.
And part of living your authentic truth can be bullshitting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You don't have to, like, I think that...
I'm just so tired of everyone trying to tell me what they think I want to hear. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. I think that, well, I was about to say something a little bit opposite that. I was about to say, I think that living your truth, I've discovered, like, as I'm maturing, living your truth also means you don't have to tell everyone your truth. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to.
You don't have to explain.
You don't have to explain yourself.
No.
If I'm talking to someone, and I can just tell that they are not understanding what I'm saying, I can choose if I want to keep going.
Yeah.
If I want to, like, take the time to really explain, no, you're actually wrong. That's not what I mean. Or I can be like, you know what? It doesn't fucking matter because that's not very important to me.
Something you told me that has literally changed my life since I heard it was no is a complete sentence.
No is a complete sentence.
No is a complete sentence. It's
No.
my favorite thing.
Ethan says that I say no more than anyone.
You say no more than anyone I've ever met.
That's the biggest compliment I've ever
And
had.
no, but like genuinely, like I think that's partly why I respect you so much.
Yeah.
Is because you're not afraid to be like, no.
No.
You know what I mean? And there's
Yeah.
such power in it.
It is.
In saying no.
There's an episode in How I Met Your Mother with Jennifer Lopez where she's like, all you have to do to win a man is say no.
It's fucking
And then
true,
Barney
though.
goes crazy in the episode.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
he's like, what do you mean
He's
no?
like feral.
What
yeah.
do you mean? He's like,
And she doesn't. No
and she doesn't
explanation.
explain. She's
no
just like,
explanation.
no.
You just say no, because you don't owe.
You
owe
don't
them anything.
owe anyone anything. If no
like-
one's ever told you that, you don't know it. Owe
You don't
anyone anything.
Owe anyone anything.
No.
You don't.
I have to remind myself that when I go on dates or when I'm dating, because I'm like, oh, I feel bad, blah, blah. I don't owe them anything.
And you can be nice about it, obviously.
Yeah.
You can be nice. Like, it's not hard to still be nice
Yeah.
and still set a boundary.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And it's not rude to say no, I'm not interested, I don't want to do that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Whether it's a date, whether it's if you're stressed about going home to see your family and you don't want to see them, say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, some people have such
Set a
toxic
boundary.
relationships with their parents, with
Yeah.
their family, with their coworkers, with their boss. Say no.
Set a boundary.
Say
Go
no.
listen to our boundaries episode.
Yeah.
Figure out which one you have and then start setting them.
Yeah.
Start setting healthy
I
ones.
promise you, saying no more will change your life.
Yes. It is.
For the better.
It's great. When I say
mean,
no
say,
more,
if it's
I'm
something
happier.
you want to do, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
But if it's not, just say no, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, people pleasers know that it will be okay, and
we're
it's
two of
okay
like
to
the biggest
offend
people pleasers ever.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
huge
mean?
people pleaser,
So
yeah.
I struggle with that a lot.
Yeah.
But yes, I promise you, it gets easier the more you do it, I've realized.
Also, when it comes to dating, my roommate just told me that her mom said this to her, and she like was
Sorry,
like,
I have to
"Whoa."
adjust my penis.
What?
Proceed.
Jesus Christ. Anyways.
You don't have balls, you don't know what it's like.
Oh
It's like
my
when your
God.
boob slips into your armpit. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that happens every day for me, but it's
Exactly. So like, sometimes you just gotta pick them back
like,
up.
oh my God. Okay.
Put the balls back in the sack,
Anyways.
so to speak.
Jesus Christ.
My marbles are
Cheese
rolling
and
away.
crackers. My roommate's mom told her this, and my roommate told me recently, and this
Yeah.
changed my, like, how I thought about dating recently.
Yeah.
She told my roommate, men will always do what is best for them. Like, straight men will always do what is best for
Oh,
them.
Of course.
So don't worry about how they're perceiving you, because if they don't like you, they just don't like
They're
you.
not there.
They're not gonna be there.
Yeah.
They're not gonna show up.
And if,
If
you're
you're
wondering how they
confused-
feel about you,
They don't like you.
they don't like you.
And so
I'm
don't
sorry.
worry about how you're perceived to them. Worry if you like them.
Yeah.
Do you like them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that where you like go out with someone and you're like so preoccupied with whether or not they find you attractive or they're interested
Yes.
in you that you like don't even check in with yourself like, am I enjoying this?
Yeah,
You know
I
what
used
mean?
to be more like that, and now I'm like, do I like this?
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah. I mean, of course. That's something I struggle with sex too, I've realized.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the moment, it's so hard to be like, that's not working for me. Do you know what I mean?
You don't want to hurt their feelings.
You don't want to. Well, yeah. I mean, it's such a. I don't know. Do you have any advice for that? Because you're both in such a vulnerable position, especially if it's someone that you're not comfortable with yet. Like it's a newer relationship or a newer, it's a hookup, something
Well-
like that. It's hard to advocate for what you want.
Yeah,
You
I've
know?
been told I'm very honest in bed. I'm not afraid to hurt their feelings.
Good.
I'll just say no.
No, but literally, no one.
No.
Does that feel good?
No. No, just leave right out.
Do you like that? No.
Just leave.
No, but genuinely, I do think that would be life-changing for people because no one's sex life or regular life, period, has been made better by them not saying what they want,
Yep.
what they need.
Exactly, and that's why people seek therapy, is because they haven't been honest with themselves and with their
Nope.
partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't be scared to tell your boyfriend to go to town on your little puss
Jeez,
because
don't call it
you
that.
deserve it.
My favorite
What
word
should I
for
call
it is
it? Beaver?
bajingo.
Bajingo.
That's what I
The
call
wall
it.
bajingo.
Bajingo.
I don't
It's
know
from
why.
Scrubs.
I feel like it needs to be Australian.
A bajingo.
It sounds like an Australian animal.
And then I'll say that sometimes and people are like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking
Bajingo.
about? Bajingo.
Yeah.
Or bajingo.
The Cracker Shack.
It's just like a nice and fun way to
Yeah.
say it.
Manila envelope.
Oh my
You know what
god.
A little plushie.
Yeah, but I think that's all I have to say about living your authentic truth and not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Do you have any more advice? Any last words of wisdom on how to stop giving a fuck and offend more people?
I think the goal is not to offend people.
The goal is to not care if you're going to.
Not care, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to advise people to get to that point, because I think it's like finding God almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the way people talk about finding religion is how I feel about finding the ability to stop giving a fuck.
Well, it's all about accepting yourself.
Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because that is what is at the core of letting go of everything.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Accepting
Like,
yourself.
if you're happy with who you are and your life, that is all that matters.
Yeah.
Like, no one else's opinion should change that for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think look inward and genuinely like try to come to peace and come to terms with who you are, and if you're not happy with who you are, change it.
Yeah. The key is definitely acceptance and like...
Yeah, but change it for yourself. Don't change it for
yourself.
anyone else.
Yeah. Accepting who you are will make you so much more confident.
Yeah.
Loving who you are will make you so much more loving towards other people. Like we were saying this earlier, when you accept who you are, you're more capable of accepting others for who they are.
Yeah.
And that makes you more capable of having those great
It is so
conversations
true.
because you don't have to agree. You can just accept them
Yeah.
and be with them where they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, guys. I think should we end it there?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
You know where to find us. Hit us on the
I think
gram
that
if
was a
you
good conclusion.
if you have any questions or
Yeah.
want to let us know what you've been up to.
But
We probably don't care either way.
stop fucking caring.
I think that's it at all.
My give a fucks are on vacation.
And so will we be
And so
soon.
are we. So
Ah!
bye.